All right, guys, here's our next install before our OTAs. We're going through our base drop back pass protection. Okay. Yeah. So let's start out holistic teaching for us first. We learned about our inside zone scheme already, 4 and 5. Okay. So the starting point of 4 and 5 is a full zone scheme, right? Where everybody's going the same direction, right? Well, it's drawn up. Everybody's going to the right on this picture here, this full zone scheme to the left. Everybody's going to the right. So that would be four drawn up. Okay. Our pass game version of that, where everybody's responsible for their gap to the right, is rip and list. Okay, we don't run rip and list as much as Ringo and Lucky though, so I'm going to go straight into Ringo and Lucky. But I did want to show you guys the difference when you talk about holistic teaching for us. There's our full zone schemes like 4 and 5, and rip and list is the same as pass version of 4 and 5. So there's a lot of carryover in terms of situational techniques and situations you need to be aware of. And then there are half zone schemes where essentially one side of the offensive line is manned up on a defensive lineman and the other side is in some kind of slide. Okay. So to get to eventually a half zone run scheme where instead of reading the backside C gap, we make the quarterback read the backside inside linebacker. We would call 14 or 15 to lock the backside on. Okay. And then that is our base pass protection as well, where one side of the protection is locked on, the other side is going to be in a three-man slide in I guess an even front. Okay. So I just wanted to go over that holistic teaching. All right. The thing for us, Ringo and Lucky, all of our pass protections, the R or the L in the protection call tells the running back where to go. So on Ringo, the running back's responsible for the right side blitz to the right. So where do you think the offensive line is sliding? To the left. Okay, so Ringo, the offensive line is sliding to the left in a half-man slide. That means the right side of the protection, the call side is locked on to their down lineman, and the center is starting a slide away from the call. Okay, and then Lucky, the running back, is responsible for blitz to the left. The call side of the offensive line, the left guard, left tackle are locked on their defensive lineman, and the center is starting a three-man slide to the right. Okay, so we're always sliding away from that RDL call in protection. Okay, so let's just look at our base, protection responsibilities here. Right, if we were to call Lucky in this look, the running back, just splitting the defense right down the middle, the running back responsible on a Lucky for any backer definitively to the left. If there's somebody head up over the center, a linebacker, which our defense will do, we got to be aware of that. The offensive line is responsible for any cylinder linebacker. Okay. But base teaching, the running back has any blitz threat to the left. So that could be the will, the boundary safety, the boundary corner. All those guys are blitz threats in this picture. He's got to be aware of any of them blitz. He's got to pick up all of them. The call side of the protections for us against an even front. Okay. And again, the even front is if there's two guys in the guard box here, we call that an even front. Against the even front, the call side of the protection, left guard and left tackle here are locked on the defensive lineman to their side. The center will now start a three-man slide to the right, and the offensive line is going to set in a three-man slide for the Mike to the Sam or any overhang threat to that side. So we'll see some blitzes later. When we set on all this, Ringo or Lucky, we are defaulting to a vertical set. What that means is at tackle and guard, you're taking two vertical kicks straight back, staying as square as possible and trying to get on the same plane before you're angling out to any wide rushes or anything like that. And what the vertical set does is it allows us to pick up twists very easily. Okay. So vertically setting, you can see the purple guys here are the man side, the blue guys are on the slide side, and the running back's responsible for other blitzers. Okay. And if we get four off of either side, the back's got to stand back across. Okay. So, similar front here. We call Ringo in this picture now the right guard and the right tackle are locked on, but now the right guard, he's locked on, but there's no three tech. Like in this picture, the call side guard was locked on a three tech. Here he's locked on an inside shade, whether it's a 2-eye or one tech, whoever that A gap player is. So he's going to set inside with his post foot up. We call that an apex set because it should look with his left foot up and the center's right foot up. It should look like the apex of a triangle, okay, where you're not going to flip your feet. You're going to keep that left foot up if you're the right guard setting to the nose here. You still want to set apex post with a little bit of depth there so you can get on the same plane as the center. Okay, and then we're starting a three-man slide to the left in this picture on a Ringo call. All right. And then last one I want to go over here, okay, against an odd front, okay, against an odd front, again, the way we define odd front is within the guard box. If there's only one guy between the outside shoulder of either guard, we call that an odd front, okay? So let's go through it all here. Ringo, the call side's to the right, the running back's responsible for blitzing Mike to Sam. Call side tackle's locked on. Well, in an odd front, there's nobody for the guard to lock on. Okay. So what we do is we communicate that guard now. He tells the center, I'm in it, I'm in it. That means I am in a four-man slide now. Okay. We're turning this from in the even front, it's a three-man slide, right? The center is just sliding with the backside guard and the backside tackle. Well, when the call side guard communicates, I'm in it, that means there's nobody for him to lock on. So we're going to turn this into a four-man slide now. So if they bring four guys off this surface, we're going to be in good position to block. You're still apex setting with your left foot up as the right guard there. Center, left guard, left tackle are setting the exact same way. Okay. But there's the difference between I'm in it call. All right. So let's watch a little bit of film now from us. Just mostly from the spring here, but we've got one kind of base clip to start against Brown last year. All right. We've got a Ringo call here. So it's Ringo. That means the call side is locked on. Ringo, I'm locked on. I'm apex setting with depth. So we'll see that set. Center's going to set with depth and width. Okay. Because it's important at the center, right? You're right on the football. These guys, their toes are going to be aligned to your heel. So they've got more depth. You always got to set with depth and a little width at center. You have a shade to your right here. So you got to be able to hand buffer and make sure that hip doesn't get picked off with a twist. But depth and width is important at center. And then the guard here is going to set back straight vertically for two kicks. He's responsible for the B gap. The tackle is going to set back straight vertically for at least two kicks before he angles out, and he's responsible for the C gap. Okay, so that's a Ringo call in this picture. We can see the center, see the depth and width at the center, so that essentially the center and both guards, you're all in the same geometric plane here, so he can't get picked off. Right? Even if 44 tried to attack him here, he's got enough depth that the guard can flatten him out before 44 would pick off that center's head. Okay, so we see the Ringo there. The tackle is locked on here. We're just base pass setting. The guard is locked on 44. And then to the other side, we get a little twist, and this is why we stay vertical. You see the tackle set with no width here, 72 straight back. We get a twist, 91 across his face. Naturally, he's going to take him, becomes the C-gap player. The guard, Ty should work his head out a little bit. He's leaning too far forward here, right? But he's able to pick up 55 on the twist and be able to create an explosive play downfield. So there's the base of the protection, right? I want to make sure I'm optimized so this runs smoothly. Okay. So now looking at us in spring ball. So this is all from the spring game. Okay. So it looks like we have a Ringo call here again. Ringo, we're locked on. Call side guard, right guard's locked on, right tackle's locked on. Center is setting with depth and width for the A gap. Guard is setting straight back for the B gap. Tackle setting straight back for two kicks for the C gap. And obviously you see the mic lined up off the ball here. Have to be aware of some kind of blitz here or a reduction for this gap from the guard, but still being able with a wide A gap player to keep that right hand buffered so that that guy doesn't run straight up field and you run right to the center. So you can see the right hand buffer from the guard there just to prevent that guy running straight up field before the center gets there. So there's a little hand buffer. You can see hips and eyes to his gap for 75. He's looking through the end first and stays in the C gap. His eyes go to that Mike. Mike doesn't blitz. Now I'm in position to just help. Okay. And when we'll go over uncovered trigger rules later, but you can see the basis of the protection, right? We've got three guys sliding this direction. So any blitz this way, we're good. Any blitz to this side will be on the responsibility of the quarterback of the running, right? All right. And to the call side, you can see why we vertically set here too. Same thing happens. Tackles thinks he's locked on this guy. Well, when his guy drops, he's going to keep setting back with depth so that when this guy loops or contain, he ends up in a position to pick him up, and now the guard's free. He's able to work trigger rules, go out and help to 96. And our goals in pass protection, we want to guarantee the inside of the pocket for the quarterback, and we've got a nice halo around him right here for him to work through his progression. That's exactly what we want the pocket with. Okay, so there's a Ringo protection against an even front. Let's see this next one here. We're in a Ringo protection again. This is a good look at a twist pickup. So Ringo, right guard, right tackle, call side's locked on. Here, locked on. Center starting the slide for the A gap, vertically for the B gap, vertically for the C gap. Okay. Now we get, again, you can see the difference. The right tackle's locked on. So when 41 crosses his face, Timmy's got a post there tackle, right? That's the Z drill. We went over that drill already. You're Z-ing, trying to keep that post foot up until it crosses your face completely to your inside shoulder. But different for the guard here, the right guard, he's locked on this guy too. But when this guy crosses the center, there's an extra guy in the slide over there. You don't have to keep setting behind the center. So he's going to pass that off and look to pick up a twist. And when your guy loops, you have to be in position to what we call attack the penetrator in these twists. So Zeus does a great job attacking 54, all right, and being able to call it off. And then when your guy is the penetrator on these twists, we want to do a great job what we call flattening the penetrator. Okay, the guy when your guy's penetrating, you want to flatten him so that Zeus, as the attacker, has space and width and enough depth to be able to attack it. And then we'll be able to flatten. In this case, for us, Zeus should call the switch here. And you can see why it's so important at center. Will gets his hips too high and he gets bull rushed into the QB. Okay, we've got to keep good low hips so the quarterback can get rid of that thing easily. All right, left tackle is a call side tackle. He's setting for the C gap. His guy drops, so his eyes go back inside. He's able to squeeze and set an edge. Right, but there's a good look at kind of intro twist pickup. We'll see again here against an even front. Looks like we've got a lucky protection. So these next couple clips, we've got some blitz. So a lucky call. Running back's responsible for 35 to any overhang blitz to that side. We're locked on here. We're locked on here. Center setting with depth and width for the A gap. Vertically for the B gap. Vertically for the C gap. And look at there's three guys out here, right? If they want to get to the QB, they're going to have to come on an angle downhill through these gaps, right? So we don't have to set out to those guys. If we set back, we're going to be able to sort out our gaps perfectly. Okay, so this is important here. Now the center setting for that A gap. All right, center setting for that A gap, and I said he's got the A gap, right? Well, I said the guard had the B gap. This guy crossed his face, and technically that guard is blocking an A gap player now, which is not what I said he was supposed to do. But the important thing for you guys to know here is this is a three-man slide. Unless this guard says he's in it, we're always in a three-man slide. Okay, so when we're in a three-man slide, as that guard sets back vertically, he already sent one guy to the center. So he can no longer send a second guy to the center because, 94 probably should be crossing face with the center here. And at 59, just let this guy win inside. Nobody would block him. So when you already send one guy to the center, you can't send a second. He has to squash this thing post inside, and he does a great job flattening that. Much better hip depth than the last clip we saw from him at center. Right, so really good job by him squashing that. And you can see with Timmy here, the biggest thing we want on the vertical sets there. So we have to stay square for one more kick longer and not get completely turned, being ready with a good base to stop bull rush. The number one thing we have to be prepared for is bull rush. You get an angle, the defender's not working either shoulder. He's running right through your chest. You got to double under punch with some force and change his force. Just place that into the sky. Timmy doesn't do a great job on that one, but it's a good look at the guard end of the slide there. Okay, another blitz on this one. Looks like we have a lucky protection call. So lucky protection, the back has this also to the overhang. He's got the mic to the Sam. We're locked on here. We're locked on here. Center starting A gap, B gap, C gap slide. We can see a blitz from the left is the responsibility of the running back. We have all our guys accounted for. Okay, so the left tackle is locked on. He vertically sets. That guy crosses his face, so he's going to post and Z back in. He flattens it. Left guard is locked on the nose again, but just like we saw in the last one, when that nose crosses the center shoulder, you're now in a position to look for a looper coming back, and if there's no looper, set, be big in the middle. His hips are a little high here. I'd like to see him a little lower so we can have a good, firm inside of the pocket, right? So that's a good look there. The guard finding work. And then to the other side, we've got B gap and C gap here. Tackle has nobody in the C gap, so he slows down on his kick. He vector matches back with that left shoulder, that left knee to prevent him from getting inside. We just want to be Zeus to be a little square to prevent any kind of penetration there. But there's a good look at that vertical set, just really letting the defense sort everything out. Okay, another blitz on this one. Looks like you see the center. What I'm looking at here for the call, because it's not written up here, the center kicks to the right. So if the center's responsible, he's kicking to the right, he's responsible for the right A gap. What would the protection call be? Lucky protection. Okay, so lucky protection, technically 45 is to the left of the center. Technically, the running back's responsible for 45, the O-line setting for this guy to the will who's outside the box. Okay, but when 45 blitzes across the center, he blitzes into the slide, the guard sees him, and he's going to end up taking. And the biggest thing when this happens, when you touch a guy, technically this is the running back's guy. You can see 20 coming across and blocking. Technically, that's the running back's guy. When you touch a guy, even if he's not your responsibility in pass protection, if you touch him, you take him. Okay, because the back can make you right and pick up your guy if he comes. But if you act like you're going to block him and then you all of a sudden block somebody else, neither of you guys are going to block him. So 62 technically blocks the running back's guy, but he touches, he takes him. So we're in a good position there, right? He's vertically setting. He's looking. You can see 62 vertically set for the B gap. His eyes are here, and he actually looks at the will first. Neither of those guys blitz, and the path of the safety takes his eyes here because of where he's going. So his eyes go there. He sees a blitzer. We're offensive linemen. We're built to block blitzers. I'm going to take the blitzer. The back can sort it out later. Okay, so there's a really good look at that kind of cylinder zero backer. Technically, he's a running backs guy, but a lot of the time we maybe need to absorb him. Okay, excellent look here. So starting in a 4-down front. Okay, so this is a Ringo call. Running back has 45 to the outside. Call side, right guard, right tackle are locked on the down lineman. Center starting the slide, A gap, B gap, C gap for 25, and the boundary safety, the boundary corner, really whoever the second threat is off of that side. Okay. So initially the right guard is out of the slide. All of a sudden they shift to an odd front. See how there's one guy from the outside shoulder of these guards. There's one guy in the guard box. We call that an odd front. Okay. So there's nobody for the right guard to lock on, right? If we were saying he's blocking the tackle, defensive end, in the odd front there. He's blocking that guy. I don't need to block him if I'm 78. I'm going to communicate, I'm in it, I'm in it, I'm in it. So now we're in a 4-man slide. So if they do bring these guys, all 4 of these guys from this side, well, we've got 4 guys to block them. We're going to be in good position. So he's screaming, I'm in it, I'm in it, I'm in it. Again, he's apex setting with depth, keeping that inside foot up, right? So this left foot should stay up there. And the reason we call that an apex set is so that when the center kicks back out to the left, the guard keeps that left foot up. It should look like the apex of a triangle there. Okay, so that's why we call it an apex set. So he's communicating, I'm in it, I'm in it, I'm in it. He's apex setting there. Center's doing exactly what he normally does. Everybody on this side is blocking exactly the way we've seen from the last couple. Okay, so the guard's communicating, I'm in it, I'm in it, I'm in it. Zeus loses that apex foot a little quick. I'd like to see him keep that inside foot up. He gets to it, once he makes contact. But we don't want to open the gate here because what happens is if this guy slants back this direction, if your hips, because your left foot's back, your hips are open this direction, it makes it really tough to transition back out. So we want to keep that left foot up when we do it. I think we'll see a couple on this one. All right, but there's a good communication. I'm in it, I'm in it, I'm in it, I'm in it versus the odd front. Another look at the odd front here. Okay. This looks like a lucky protection. Okay. And you can see lucky protection. Left guard here is communicated. I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm in the slide. Left tackle's locked on. We're in a 4-man slide this direction now. And look at the apex set from the guard here. See that right foot? See how 75 keeps that right foot up so that when this guy crosses his face, I started the slide. If somebody crosses my face, I now have to end the slide because there's nobody for me to pass him to. Okay, so 75 starts the slide. He ends the slide. Center does a good job, 2-hand snapping, staying vertical, coming back. And the guard here, initially he's thinking I'm blocking 45. He squeezes to it. We get a 2-on-1. This guy, our defense does a really good job not blitzing into gaps. So they do what we call a slide wrap, where he's normally going to blitz this gap, but he sees the O-line sliding this direction. So he's not just going to get blocked. He'll wrap all the way back across. So 78 is doing a good job here. This guy's, when they draw it up on the board, he's blitzing this gap, but he actually ends up in this gap because of the way we said. So he attacks and turns us into a twist pickup situation. Okay. So we're going a little bit out of the gaps here, but this is a stimulus response thing. Okay. But there's a good look at another on-minute call. And then last one here with the odd front again. We can see I'm in it, I'm in it, I'm in it. We're sliding to the left. So what's the protection call here? Ringo protection, right tackle is locked on the end. Running back has 37 to the overhang. Obviously, this side is the offensive right. The picture is flipped around on this one. So Ringo protection call. I'm in it, I'm in it, I'm in it. You see the guard posting apexing with that left foot up. He's got the A gap. He's got the B gap, B gap, and C gap here. Okay. So we've got 4 guys for these 4-man slide. Okay. So we're in a perfect situation there with an on-minute call. You can see a great job here, though. Again, our defense, 24 is supposed to be blitzing this gap, but when he sees the whole line slide that way, he's taught to wrap around and become unblocked. So 75 does a great job seeing that, staying vertical. He now is working twist pickup rules. His guy is looping, so he flattens and attacks the penetrator. He gets aggressive, lowers his shoulder on 18. He should call switch, switch, switch. The center should attack back out and try to run this guy into the looper. We might get a double switch for the guard coming back across if we do it well. But you can see a lot of the times with these loopers, the ball is going to be gone before they get there. All right. So an excellent look now at a couple four-man slides against the odd front. All right. Some good work for you. Can't wait to see you guys in a few weeks. Talk soon.